What if the miracle you're waiting for shows up drenched out of breath and knocking right now? When you pray for a ladder, it might arrive painted orange with a spray marker and leaning against a fire escape. And what if faith isn't the art of standing still, but the courage to step into the help you're given? This is the fourth knock for most of my life. I thought God spoke through static-charged skies and lullabies delivered by lightning strikes. My imagination soared with prophets and golden calves, ancient stories and voices that shook the Red Sea. I never considered he might deliver answers on Tuesday evenings in cubicles, in emails with subject lines that read, "Quick question." I mean, I knew God didn't work like that, so I didn't look for his fingerprints on ordinary clothes. The trick, I think, is not in God, but in us. When something feels beyond hope, we edit the news. We cut out the helpful and highlight the hopeless. We tell ourselves stories that explain why good people drown and terrible people sail to safety. We build idols from those explanations and prop them up in the place of God, and then we pray to those idols. So let me tell you another story. The river village lived by a steady rhythm. Bells at dawn, market at noon, prayers at dusk. People argued about small things and forgave by evening. The temple sat on a little rise, whitewashed and simple, with a single brass lamp that burned through the night like a heartbeat. Then the monsoon broke pattern, clouds stacked like mountains. Rain came with the sound of torn silk, needling roofs, leaping gutters, turning the footpaths to rivers. The real river, swollen and brown, shouldered its banks and stepped into the streets. Dogs barked at doors that wouldn't open. Mothers lifted babies to their hips and shouted checklists across courtyards. The village changed from a lattice of routines to a single plan: move higher. Now, a young man fought the current up the temple steps. He was more blur than person, soaked hair pasted to his forehead. He burst into the priest's small room. "Father," he said between breaths, "the water is in our houses. It's already in the courtyard. We VE tied ropes to the ridge and we re-going to the school on the hill. Please, come with us." The priest had been sweeping rainwater toward the door with a straw broom. He looked up with kind, unwavering eyes. "I thank you," he said, "but I have put my trust in God. He will come to save me. Go help the others." The young man wanted to argue, but the temple floor shuddered as a wave hit the outer wall. Duty pulled him away. He left a rope coiled by the door, in case. He called Dand was gone. Water rose to the priest's waist, then his chest. He climbed onto a carved desk, set the brass lamp beside him, and prayed aloud to steady his mind. He pictured deliverance as the stories told it. Blinding light, a sudden stillness, a voice that parted the storm like curtains. Instead, he heard wood thud against stone. A fishing skiff nosed into the entryway. The boatman, face raw with wind, stood and reached out. "Father, villagers told me you stayed. There's room, please." The priest folded his hands. "God will come." The boatman hesitated, eyes traveling from the priest's soaked robes to the lamp that refused to die. He nodded once, "May God keep you," and pulled away to find other hands. The water climbed the walls as if they were ladders. The priest made his way onto the roof. From there, the world looked like a scattered archipelago: rooftops, treetops, the spire of the school on the hill ringed by people waving bright cloths. He prayed again, more urgently now, and listened. A heavy thudding arrived before he could name it, blades chopping the air. The helicopter shouldered into the low clouds and hovered, rattling the rain. A rescuer dropped a rope ladder that slapped the tiles within arm's reach. "Climb," the rescuer shouted. "We'll take you to the school." The priest pressed a hand to his chest. He felt the drumbeat of his own heart and mistook it for faith. "Save others," he yelled back. "God will save me." The ladder hung there for a long second, the way chances do when they're trying to be obvious. Then it lifted and swung toward the next desperate roof. By dusk, only the peak of the temple remained above the flood. The priest stood there, braced against the wind, shoes gone, lamp cradled like a child. He had nothing left to do but be honest. "Lord," he said into the rain, "I have worshipped you. I have taught others to trust you. Where were you when I called?" The storm eased away, a fist opened. A warmth gathered beside him, not in the air, but inside the moment, as if the world had made space for an answer. The priest turned and saw no figure he could describe, only a presence with the weight of kindness. "My child," said the presence, the words arriving soundless and sure, "I came 3 times. I came with the neighbor who warned you. I rode to you in the boat. I lowered the ladder from the sky, but I will not carry a closed hand. I answer prayers with paths. Why would you not walk them?" The priest's spine went soft. Pride so skillful at pretending to be piety fell away like a wet cloak. He bowed until his forehead touched the tiles. "Forgive me," he whispered. I was searching for thunder and missed your knock. As if the village and heaven had rehearsed it together, a final chance arrived. The helicopter returned, sweeping the river for any late light. The ladder skimmed the ridge. The rescuer pointed and shouted, "Last pass." The priest didn't consult his dignity this time. He set the lamp down where the tiles made a little cradle, gripped the rope with trembling hands, and climbed. Strong arms pulled him into the cabin. The rescuer wrapped him in a blanket and pressed a canteen to his lips. "Thank God," the rescuer said. "I am," the priest answered, and meant both sentences at once. The flood receded over the next days, as if deciding to be reasonable again. People came down from the school on the hill carrying stories like provisions. The priest walked among them, helping pitch tents, lift beams, blessing bread. When they asked him what had happened, he did not varnish the truth. "I mistook testing God for trusting God," he said. "I expected a miracle shaped like a myth and ignored 3 miracles shaped like neighbors. I learned that prayer is a door, but we must walk through it when it opens." That evening he gathered the village under a sky scrubbed clean. He lit the brass lamp and set it in the square. Beside it, he laid 3 objects: a knotted rope, a little boat carved from driftwood, and a toy ladder made by a child from mango twigs. "These are sermons," he said. "Remember them." Then he offered a simple field guide he wished he'd known on the roof. How to recognize help when you're re-drowning. 1. Pray clearly, name the need. Vague prayers hide vague refusals. 2. Watch widely. Expect answers through people, tools, timing, rarely thunder. 3. Say yes, quickly. Faith is a verb. Speed matters when the water rises. 4. Thank loudly. Gratitude teaches your eyes what to look for next time. 5. Become the answer. After rescue, be someone else's rope, boat, or ladder. The village changed its habits. They kept on praying at dusk, but after Amen, they checked their neighbors' windows. They stored extra rope by their doors. When storms came, they moved early. And in fair weather, they practiced noticing. The teacher who stayed late with a lonely child, the grocer who rounded down for a widow, the teenager who showed up with buckets before anyone asked. Miracles, it turned out, were common if you didn't insist they arrive wearing halos. Years later, when a smaller flood came, the same young man, now a father, pounded on a door 2 streets over. The woman inside opened, saw his face, and didn't argue. She grabbed her child, took his hand, and ran. On the school steps, she laughed, breathless. "I think God just knocked," she said. He grinned. "He tends to." If this story steadied you, I'd love to share more simple, heartfelt tales made for calm minds and braver days. Subscribe to the channel for the next one, and may you notice the knock when it comes. Thank you.